It's Friday, June 20th. I'm Macy Eglund. We begin with the story you'll see only in Newsday. Fear on our farms amid stepped-up immigration enforcement efforts. ICE agents have been told to continue conducting enforcement operations at agricultural businesses, and that has East End farm workers worried. One we spoke with made contingency plans with his wife.
I told her that if anything happened as soon as I got to work, I will let her know. And if I didn't, she should look for me at immigration if necessary.
The New York Farm Bureau says the crackdown will eventually lead to higher grocery prices. An update on the popular Port Washington bagel store manager arrested by ICE. Long Island Congressman Tom Suozzi wrote President Trump and Homeland Security head Kristi Noem calling for the release of Fernando Mejia. The Salvadoran native was detained by immigration agents last week outside of Schmear Bagel and Cafe. The hunt continues for the hit-and-run driver who killed a prominent real estate agent in the Hamptons. Police say 40-year-old Sarah Burke was hit at 2:45 yesterday morning. It happened on Montauk Highway in Hampton Bays. You can read more about Newsday's year-long investigative series looking at Long Island's dangerous roads on our website, newsday.com. Cleanup is underway today after severe storms ripped through parts of the island last night. This was the scene after a tree fell on a house in North New Hyde Park. Wow. NUMC fired its former CEO for cause. A letter obtained by Newsday says an oversight board terminated Megan Ryan for allegedly doling out $3.5 million in excessive payments to herself and a dozen others. Looking back at what's considered the first summer blockbuster ever, Jaws came out 50 years ago today. Steven Spielberg's film hit theaters on June 20th, 1975. It was shot on Martha's Vineyard, but the inspiration for Captain Quint is widely believed to be the late legendary Montauk shark fisherman Frank Mundus, seen here in this Newsday photo from 1986. Read more about Jaws at 50 on newsday.com. Let's talk about your Friday forecast now. Summer officially starts tonight, and it'll feel like it. A beautiful morning here at Ponquag Bridge in Hampton Bays. Sunny, less humid today for your Friday. Highs in the 80s across Long Island for you. Look at that. That'll be nice. Looking ahead to your weekend, something we haven't seen in a while. Sun and clouds for Saturday and sunny on Sunday. We'll take it. Finally, getting some nice weather for the weekend. We could hit 90 degrees or so on Sunday. That could be the start of the first heat wave of the summer. As you see, next work week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all looking pretty hot.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
Only in Newsday, East End farm workers living in fear amid stepped-up immigration enforcement efforts. Virginia Huey has that story.
The pause on ICE raids at farms, hotels, and restaurants lasted 4 days before the Trump administration changed course and resumed aggressive enforcement. The reversal in policy is once again sowing fear across farms and hospitality businesses on the East End.
More than anything, I wake up worried.
This 34-year-old farm worker washes lettuce in Riverhead. The father of 3 young children says the threat of ICE raids has prompted him to make contingency plans with his wife.
I told her that if anything happened as soon as I got to work, I will let her know. And if I didn't, she should look for me at immigration if necessary.
He's been working at farm fields on the East End since he came to the U.S. from Mexico when he was 12. He says his goal is to build a better future for his children.
I think they should, for example, look for the ones who are criminals, the real criminals. Everyone agrees with that, but when they take a worker who is going to work, I think that's wrong because he's coming to pursue a dream.
Last Thursday, President Trump posted on Truth Social that his mass deportation campaign was taking a toll on the agricultural and hospitality industries. But Trump changed his tune days later, ordering ICE agents to deliver what he called the single largest mass deportation program in history.
They're frightening these people to death.
Nancy Lascotti of Trimble's Nursery in Cutchogue says her landscaper, who's been a loyal worker for 30 years, is so scared he's returning to his native Guatemala next month.
It doesn't seem like they're looking for criminals. They're looking for anybody who's illegal. That seems to be the crime.
The White House has said the raids are about enforcing immigration law. However, the New York Farm Bureau says the crackdown will eventually hurt the economy.
And when there's a reduction in the workforce, in this case it happens to be the immigrant labor workforce, some farms won't be able to survive because they have so many immigrant workers on their farms. But it also translates into fewer workers, of course, equals higher prices at the grocery store, let alone the humanitarian aspect of everything. But that is what's going to happen in the end.
But some say they'll continue to live and work on the East End so their families can achieve the American dream.
That they have a better future, that they have a home, that they are not discriminated against.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
The Trump administration is shutting down the national LGBTQ youth suicide hotline within 30 days. Joining me now is David Kelmnick, president of the LGBT network. And David, first question is, how important is this hotline?
Oh, this hotline is critically important. It's a matter of life or death for many kids. You know, LGBTQ youth are disproportionately impacted by suicide, by isolation, and so many of them have had traumatic experiences with other providers, you know, where they've either been misgendered, pathologized, or judged for simply who they are or who they love. So when they reach out to a hotline like this, you know, they need to know that they're going to be safe and be supported and be respected for who they are without consequence. And so that isn't a special right or anything. It's something that's critical. And all the data backs that up. Scientific data, mental health data, medical data backs it up that kids, LGBTQ kids, need a service like this.
Now, I want to talk about the timing a little bit. We are still in Pride Month, so what does the timing of this move mean?
You know, the timing of this, I mean, it's bad at any particular time, but, you know, doing it during Pride Month when people are celebrating who they are and proud to be who they are, you know, we have a government that continues to try to erase us and silence identity. And let's be clear, that's what this is about. It's not about doing things equally. It's not about equality. I don't think Trump really cares about equality at all. So, but to happen during Pride Month, it's especially harmful and it's infuriating.
Now, for those that are looking for help, what other resources are out there?
Sure. You know, if the federal government won't help our LGBTQ young people, we're going to make sure that they're helped right here on Long Island. So contact the LGBT network. We have mental health services. We can also link you up to services that are affirming, you know, where kids don't have to worry, and parents as well. We got to think about parents too here who are looking for help for their kids. So they can contact us at the LGBT network, 631-665-2300, and we'll make sure that, you know, people get the services that they need. And just as importantly, make sure that they don't feel alone, because no one on Long Island or anywhere really should be alone in this.
David Kelmnick, president of the LGBT network, thank you so much for joining us. Now, for more on this story, make sure to head over to Newsday.com.
Feed Me is brought to you by Sarant Cadillac.
My sheep eats better than Andy.
So I moved to Long Beach, New York from the West Coast about 2 years ago. And the first thing that I noticed that was so unique about this barrier island was the soft serve ice cream, particularly at an iconic spot called Marvell.
That's because soft serve ice cream was invented in New York, and Marvell is one of its oldest purveyors.
I'm back in and I see Marvell here.
The original location in Lido Beach opened in 1951, not long after soft serve ice cream was accidentally invented by a Greek immigrant, Tom Carvel, in the 1930s. But unlike Carvel ice cream, Marvell is still a family-owned business.
We are the third Greek-American family to buy into this business. They opened it up as a small roadside custard stand, and they had custards and ice creams. And through the years, the menu evolved.
The Fragiodakis family now has 3 locations of Marvell, including my favorite one on the Long Beach Boardwalk, because the people watching there is second to none.
She loves the ice cream. If you get a bellyache, I don't want to hear nothing.
So what do you think of Long Beach as a food town?
A lot of variety.
You can eat outside, you know, it's nice. Especially when it's warm out, it's beautiful.
I did not grow up eating a lot of soft serve ice cream because I'm from the West Coast and soft serve is not
Non-existent.
a thing there. It's just Dairy Queen. So when you come here, what are you supposed to order?
I don't know. It depends. If you're me, you order coffee with crunchies.
Coffee with crunchies?
Coffee with crunchies is my favorite. The brown bonnets are a big hit.
Yeah.
Chocolate shell on a vanilla or chocolate or strawberry cone. Do you want a cup and a spoon? No?
Creamy and chocolatey, not challenging.
Well, it's a little challenging.
For Newsday TV, I'm Andy Berlin.
I actually did not know that soft serve was invented here. Who doesn't love soft serve? For more on where to get ice cream like that here on Long Island, go to our website, newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box.
We're outside Yankee Stadium asking the ultimate baseball fan question. If you catch a visiting player's home run ball, do you keep it or do you throw it back?
It's not my team. I would throw it back in.
Doesn't matter who hit it?
Doesn't matter who hit it.
Who wants a home run ball from the other if it's counts for the other team?
Red Sox or Mets player, I'm throwing it back. Or Astros.
I'm throwing all the way back. Other team, doesn't matter, not worth it.
It doesn't matter who hit it?
Nope, don't care.
What if it's Ohtani?
Throwing it back.
Throwing it back?
Unless it's, you know, a ball that may be worth $1 million, then, you know, then maybe I'll be keeping it.
Does it matter if it's Ohtani or something?
Doesn't matter. I throw it back.
Not everyone agrees.
Keep it, 100%. I mean, make some money off of it, you know? Ugh. It depends on if we're winning or losing, but I'd probably give it to a little kid, a fan, maybe throw it back.
And for some fans, catching a ball is part of the magic.
I'd keep it. It's still fun being here and catching something and being part of that experience.
If they're just going to take it, throw it back in the pile, I'd rather keep the ball and bring it home, take it to my kids.
From Yankee Stadium, I'm Carissa Kelman for Newsday TV.
Team Keep It. Agree with that. Read more about the story on newsday.com. Click Get More below this Newsday TV video box.
Sarah Sounds Off is brought to you by Roll Up Awnings.
Interesting how some schools just don't lose. Garden City, Cold Spring Harbor, they have. Tell me about the Garden City boys and how it went for them.
You know, it's cliche to say that results speak for themselves, but they really do with Garden City. It's year in, year out, just always competing for that. They had an off year last year, and that meant that they lost in the county final. You know, it's 3 titles in the last 4 years.
Watch this week's episode of Sarah Sounds Off with Newsday High School sports editor Greg Sarah, streaming now on newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. You can see more on all of these stories on newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and all of the other streaming services that you see here. I'm Macy Eglund. Thanks for watching. Happy Friday.